So a couple years back, I met this one girl in this class that I was in, and we instantly hit it off. It was literally one of those instant connections that you hear about in like these love stories and these movies and stuff. But I could tell something was off, like from the start. Like she would always flake on me when I wanted to hang out with her, and like take forever to respond and stuff. So I could tell something was off. Like it's one of those classic stories when you see the red flags early on, but you ignore them because you're really in love, and that was me. And then fast forward a little bit, she ended up telling me that she did get out of a long-term relationship and she was engaged, and she also got cheated on, so she had like major trust issues. And it also didn't help that I was kind of a degenerate back then, and I was also like having sex with girls and stuff and sleeping around. And I remember I kind of like retaliated in kind of an immature manner to all the flaking and annoying female behavior that I was receiving. And I was seeing this one girl at the time, and I remember like she gave me a very visible hickey like on the side of my neck, and I tried putting a little bit of makeup on before going to school that day, but it didn't really help. And I was like, screw it, if she sees it, it's probably for the best if she sees it, because that way she knows that like I'm not to mess with, like I got other bitches type thing. And then she ended up seeing it. I mean, kind of expected her to, so she saw it, and she like went up to me, was like, was somebody sucking on your neck? And then I remember I lied to her, and I said it was like some scar that I got from judo, because in judo like we grab the lapels and like we choke each other. So I was just saying it was like one of those bruises, and I thought in my head that she bought it, like she believed the lie, but it turned out she didn't. And like fast forward, like even weeks, months after that, the flakiness continued, all that like weird female behavior of distancing herself from me continued, and I in my head just thought that she's got trust issues from her last relationship, she got cheated on, so just give her time to heal. Just give her that time. She just doesn't trust me. And that's where I went wrong. So this behavior continued from her end for like a couple months after, until that summer I eventually had enough. And I was already kind of like red pill back then, if you will, and like I knew, all right, like if somebody's like making your life miserable, you really just got to cut them off. So I just blocked her. I deleted her number. I didn't delete her number actually, but I blocked her on all social media. I did block her number, but I eventually unblocked it, and I think that was destiny, because that wasn't where the story ended. So I'm glad I didn't, because this is where the story gets good. So then like 6 months after I blocked her, she actually reached out to me on the same number that I did not block, right? So she reached out to me, and obviously my pussy ass took her back instantly, because I just loved this girl so much, and like I wanted to give her another chance, right? And keep in mind, I still wasn't aware that she noticed the hickey. I still thought that she believed the lie I told her. So then, fast forward a month, and then the games continued. Like she still didn't want to hang out. She would still like be weird over the phone, and like would take forever to respond. I was like, what the heck? Like nothing changed. Why did you come back into my life? Until eventually she said like, oh, like I don't think I'm healed yet, I'm not ready for a relationship. And then boom, then like we stopped talking, and the same thing continued. Like I blocked her number this time again, but I told her like it's only for my peace. Like I don't want to have somebody on my phone that I'm not talking to, and like seeing her Instagram posts is just like not gonna help me like focus and move on. So while I did block her, but this time like we communicated it, but I don't think she took it well. I think she thought I was just being like toxic again. And then fast forward a couple months after that, she reached out to me again that spring of the next year, and then like we rekindled, we started talking again. And then comes the last summer of this year, and I met up with her, and I remember just seeing her in person, like the look in her eyes. She looked so skinny, like I just saw the pain in her eyes, and I was like, oh boy. And like moments leading up to that, like we were talking on the phone and stuff, and there was just so many problems. Like she thought that I was being toxic, and I was like playing games with her because I wouldn't give her an unhealthy amount of attention that she seeked, because apparently she was used to that. And keep in mind, this girl had like a lot of trauma. Not only did she get cheated on, but she had like a terrible relationship with her father, and like a lot of abuse at home. So I can't really blame her for all of that, because that also contributes to their mental sanity, because women are more sensitive to these things and trauma than men are. So yeah, I met up with her, and that day, oh man, that day was an emotional roller coaster. I found out that she really wasn't healing during that time that I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. when she said, oh, I just need time, I need to heal, and I remember she said on the phone that like I was in a relationship for so long, and I just want to feel like I can actually make decisions for myself this time. And my dumbass just bought into that, and you know, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And then like when we met up and we hung out, she like confessed that she wasn't freaking healing. She was, you know, running off with other dudes and like having sex and hooking up with her ex. Like her ex was still in the picture. She did not cut it off with that guy. And obviously I was heartbroken. I broke down in front of her. Like I love this girl, man. Like I'll admit it. Like I cried like a freaking baby. And it was a big turnoff, I'm not gonna lie. I think every man gets turned off hearing about a woman's sexual past, of course. It's just in our biology. And I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't want to cut her off. Like I still wanted to work things out with her and find out like what was the root of the problem. So I took her to my therapist, and I tried to guide her as best I could, and she went a couple times to the therapist, and it seemed like it was all going good, right? Yeah, dude, like I remember she told me that she like kissed a dude during the time where I was giving her like that time to heal. And keep in mind, I did not talk to a single girl throughout that year. I was being super loyal, even though I wasn't talking to her. I wasn't interacting. I didn't go out with no girl. I did nothing with any girl. I was waiting for her, because this time around I thought it was different, because I wasn't gonna be hooking up with any other girl, because this time I felt like it was different. Like she was actually giving me attention. Like she reached out to me after I blocked her. I thought that was like a major indicator of interest right there, but I was wrong. She just thought that I was, you know, hooking up with other girls and just being a degenerate. So she was probably like in her head like, oh, I'm gonna do the same. And basically what she was doing was just keeping me in the back burner while she was trying to find other options to see if she could find a better man, and then like leave me for dead, basically. But obviously she didn't find a better man, because I'm the better man here. But yeah, no, she didn't. And yeah, she told me like she went on a bunch of dates with guys. She even like kissed the dude, and she definitely had a bunch of sex. But you know, a girl's not gonna admit that, because you know they don't want to feel judged, right? And I understand that. And I wasn't okay with that. I felt that was like absolutely messed up from her part, because I was being loyal. I didn't go out with a single girl, so like why is it right that you do it? But understanding the circumstances, she like from the hickey and stuff, like she thought I was just this player and I was gonna like do her wrong. I was like, oh, you're probably like having sex with other girls, so I'm gonna do the same. So I understand, but still I wasn't okay with that. When we did meet up to hang out the first time that summer on the beach, like I asked her like, all right, we're gonna be official now, and like she agreed. So by definition we were boyfriend and girlfriend. So then like we hung out like I think 4 times total that summer. And eventually like I talked to my brother and my friends about it, and it just wasn't ideal. And then the problems continued. Like she was just causing a lot of problems. Like she always wanted to go out to the bars and stuff without me. I was like not okay with that. And she had like this guy friends and stuff, like this one guy that she just said there was like a long childhood friend that she knew for 15 years. And I knew this guy was trying to smash, like it really was. And I was like, all right, like let's do a test. If this guy's really your friend, text him one day. Just like lie to him. Be like, all right, I'm horny and I'm home alone, and see what he says. If he wants to if he tries to meet up with you, then yeah, he just wants to have sex with you. But if he thinks you're, honestly, there's really no other way around. If he's a straight male and he's your friend, he really wants to have sex with you. And then this guy says, then so she texts him, she says, hey, my parents are gone. Something like that. I don't remember exactly what she said. And then he goes, can I come over? We could smoke a joint. And I'm like, yeah, you're a freaking idiot for thinking that guys just want to be buddies with you. And yeah, all of these red flags, and I just thought, this girl freaking sucks. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, and then all 3 of us decided, me, her, and the therapist decided that she is really not ready for a relationship and that we should not be seeing each other. So we decided to take a little break and like let her heal for real this time. And I was just, being good. I was doing my work. I wasn't talking to her. And she kept trying to call me, and she kept calling me crying that she couldn't be alone. And she was like one of those girls that really needed an unhealthy amount of attention to feel good. And she always needed a guy. She always needed a guy to give her that validation, to make her feel good and help her escape her shitty reality. Eventually, I think a week or 2 passed, and I just had it. Just thinking about all those guys that she had with that she told me about. I just couldn't take it. I wasn't okay with that. And I eventually texted her because I wanted to break up with her, and I didn't want to see her anymore. And then, the conversation was really long. It was like all day. And then I eventually was like, all right, maybe we can work through it. Maybe if you like give me the time of day, we can actually work through this, because I love you and I want to work this out. And I see myself with you. But then she's like, oh, you're not going to want to. And I'm like, why is that? She's like, I went back to my ex. And then my heart sank. And I was like, you what? And I remember I was talking outside my window because I didn't want my parents to hear. And I was devastated, obviously. She cheated, and she was denying it. She was like, oh, I just went over there, lying, saying, oh, I went over there to, give him his house keys or some bullshit that I obviously didn't believe. She obviously went over there to have sex and get validation. And I couldn't take it. That was like the last straw. And I was like, as a man, even back then, as inexperienced as I was, I had to have some self-respect. And I was like, never take back a cheater. Like, never take back a cheater, guys, because they're just going to do it again. And what I thought, I was doing some thinking. She did that to see what she could get away with in a relationship with me. She was like, oh, if he takes me back after I cheated on him, that means I can do it again and do other things. But I was like, nope. Guys, you got to show, even back then I knew, you got to show women the consequences of their bad behaviors, or else they're going to keep doing it. It's kind of like, not comparing women to children, but it is kind of like a child. Like if a child misbehaves, but you don't like lecture them, you don't like spank them or whatever, they're going to keep doing it. So same principle applies to girls or anybody. If you don't show them consequences for disrespecting you, they're going to continue to disrespect you. So obviously I just cut it off, and it was really sad. I remember I was on the phone, and she asked me, like, Joey, like, do you want to be with me or not? And then I just say, like, I remember I was so proud of myself. Like, I just stood strong, and I was like, I don't. And she goes, I wish you the best. She's like, goodbye, Joey. And I'm like, likewise, goodbye. And then the conversation ended, and I never spoke to her again. I blocked her number, blocked her Instagram, blocked everything. And yeah, and then she tried reaching out to me on like 5 different email accounts, but I stayed strong. I didn't respond to any of them. I read them, but I didn't respond to any of them. And they're just like super manipulative and just trying to lie her way back into my life. But no, I learned my lesson, and I'm never gonna speak to this woman again. Guys, I'm very thankful to God that I went through this experience, because it just made me stronger, more wiser, and better. So what are a few things I learned? I learned that I'm a lot more stronger than I actually realized, because it takes a lot of courage to fall in love, first of all, but also to walk away from somebody that you love with all your heart, that you feels like your soulmate and you have that connection with them. It's so difficult and not something that a lot of men are comfortable doing, but it's necessary. You have to go through that. You have to be able to walk away from any relationship. Like, there's a quote by Trump that says, you always have to be willing to walk away from a negotiation, a deal, if it doesn't go your way. I also learned not to trust blindly, something that I would always do. I always gave her the benefit of the doubt, but not saying that gave me like trust issues, but it did make me more aware to not give your trust so easily to somebody you're just getting to know. I learned that when you see red flags early on in the relationship, when you first meet somebody, those are usually the red flags that come back to bite you in the ass. Like her ex, she mentioned her ex. I should have addressed that more, even though I tried to, but she just wouldn't communicate with me. And it just wasn't meant to be because of all the circumstances that went on from the beginning, because I was also untrustworthy with the hickeys and stuff, so she was never going to come to me and talk to me about it. So it was just a classic story of it not being meant to be. This is not to judge people, but this is reality. When a girl has a lot of guy friends, she's very outgoing, she has a lot of trauma, lingering exes, all these red flags, drinks, vapes, does a lot of hedonistic things. These are usually red flags. And people that live these types of lives are more likely to cheat than a person who is more goal-oriented, is very organized, has a good relationship with their family and stuff like that, has good friends. It also taught me that if you're seeing a girl who doesn't have goals, who's just on her phone all the time, is like a dopamine zombie, and just does a bunch of hedonistic garbage, these girls aren't good. They really aren't. And that also applies to men too. It also taught me to up my standards. Don't date girls who've been with tons of guys. It's just a rule of thumb, because more trauma, more trust issues, they're going to be more emotionally desensitized to dating you, and it's just going to be super complicated. I got some dogs there. I learned how important communication and trust is, guys. You have to communicate with your partner. Like, you have to talk to them constantly, because I mean, who else are they talking to if they're not talking to you? Like, if you're not giving a girl your attention, she's definitely getting it from another guy. I also learned that most women, unfortunately, in this generation don't know what waiting means. I also learned not to be somebody's knight in shining armor. I learned how her relationship with her family, with her father in particular, are crucial. I learned what goes around comes around. So if you're a degenerate and you're like having sex with a bunch of girls, you're probably gonna attract a woman of that caliber too, that are attracted to those little toxic games, you know, of you like taking forever to respond yourself. She's attracted to that. She gets turned on by that because that's all she's used to. She's used to dealing with guys that do that. And if you're like a nice guy who like responds to her and like, you know, is trying to be a good guy and like help her out, that's gonna scare her because she's not used to that. She's gonna think you're trying to play her, and then she's gonna put her walls up in defense and like push you away even more. So in my opinion, don't even deal with these types of girls. But if you really love her and you can feel like she loves you too, then address the issues. Don't just cut people off like that. You gotta address the red flags first. And if they're not solvable, yeah, then cut them off. Like, what else are you gonna waste your time there for? I learned how emotional health is everything, guys. Dating a woman who's unhealed and has all this trauma is really gonna make it tough. So your best interest is in dating women that are already healed and don't have these traumas and problems. I learned how to trust my instinct more. If I feel something's off, again, address it. If I love the person, I care about them, address it. And if it isn't solvable, then yeah, cut them off. But your gut is everything, guys. Don't ignore that. It's really your spirit speaking to you. That's what your gut instinct is, essentially. It's your spirit communicating to you. And if you feel something's off, you're probably right and you should listen to your gut. So this is why I think going through experiences like these, traumatic experiences as a man, is crucial, because look at all the lessons that I learned. Now I'm going to be a lot more cautious with the next girl I deal with. I'm going to be more focused on my grind, my online ventures and stuff. Like every man should, honestly. Like, just stay focused, man. Like, don't go out, waste your time chasing women like I did. I mean, it's different. Like, if I'll go into that in another video about like the phase of your life where you're dating women the most, how you can actually gain some good experience from that. But in general, guys, it says in the Bible too, in Proverbs 31, like, chasing women have ruined many kings, essentially. So don't waste your early years doing this. You're in your 20s. Spend those years when you're most strong, you got highest testosterone, and you're at top health and most able to do things, doing what's actually important, and that's going to set you up for a good life, which is starting your business, creating wealth, investing, all of that. Put all your energy into that, not women. If a woman is meant to be with you, she'll find you, and it'll be easy. You'll just know. If you feel any type of resistance and tension in a relationship, if it's hard to talk to her, it's for a reason. She's probably not into you, or she's kind of like how it happened with me. She's probably dealing with another guy. So as soon as you feel like she's taking forever to respond or like something's off, just cut it off. Address it first, but honestly, in most cases, she's probably seeing some other guy and you don't want her anyways. So I have this video that I made about how trauma actually makes men better, and I want you guys to watch that video right here. I think you guys will learn a lot from it. So if you like this video and you vibe with me, my whole message here is to try to make men better, self-improvement, make men more masculine by sharing my experiences to hopefully put you guys on a path to success like I currently am as a 25-year-old. So subscribe if you vibe with me in the message and like the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.